Let's rock, baby.
All right, let us continue, boys.
Let's continue.
Now, we've talked about 3 in the beginning. Let's move on to the game that started it all. Devil May Cry 1.
2. Oh.
Fuck off.
Sorry, Carl, I don't think you can watch our videos anymore.
No.
So yeah, let's move on to Devil May Cry 1, the game that started it all, and the next in our timeline. And we start with Slow Down, Babe. We start with a really good shot of Dante's shop, rocking hard. Apparently, he's still doing some good business. And here we have a good look at his shop. He's been doing good. And I find something funny about this scene that I will explain later. I'm laughing at it now, but I really shouldn't. So yeah, Dante is chilling out. He's having a good time. He's just saying how he can't really get anything done lately, even though he just started up his fucking business, until bam, a woman crashes through his window. Travis, keep it in your pants.
Skeleton lady.
Keep in mind, you're seeing OG PS2 graphics right now. Things are gonna look weird.
Skeleton lady.
So, a weird woman appears in a motorbike after breaking through his door, and he says, "Slow down, babe." And this mysterious woman starts saying, "Are you the mysterious man that can, like the mysterious handyman that can take on any job?" And he says, "I only take special jobs, if you know what I mean." Things get oddly, weirdly sexual for a second until, whoop-bam! This mysterious woman kicks Dante in the face and starts to throw the motorcycle at him. Now, I want you boys to guess, how does Dante get out of the situation?
Punch the motorcycle out of the air.
I personally think that he smiles, and his sheer beauty of his smile destroys the motorcycle and all demons in the world with his pure Christian-hearted smile.
Almighty push.
Shinra Tensei.
Once everybody, Carl win.
Oh god.
Yes.
I can't be that loud.
No, well, you're all wrong. Dante pulls out his guns,
Dang it.
slows it midair somehow, and then shoots it. And he gets up.
Dante gets impaled number 2.
Wow.
And Dante gets impaled again because Trish threw his sword at him. Which, by the way,
2 or 3.
he's...
It was 3.
Which, by the way, he is using the Force Edge sword now. Not Rebellion in this one.
Oh, see.
And he starts saying to this mysterious woman, "I was given these mysterious demon powers years ago. I know how to take care of demons like you." And he starts to go for the shot against this mysterious woman. However, she gets up and states to him, "You've been just the person I've been looking for, the legendary Dark Knight's son, Dante. I've been looking for you. I may need your help." She takes off her glasses, and who does she look like? Bum bum bum!
Ruh-roh.
Can we get like a Scooby-Doo? Ruh!
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
But Dead or Alive 3 had better graphics than this game did, and they came out in the same year.
So, Trish, she says her name is Trish, so she says to him, and let's get a good look at these two. Now, here's your look at Dante on the left in one, and Trish. Now, Nick, you weren't here for this earlier, but I'm going to have you boys rate every Dante in every game while we go along. You've given DMC 3 Dante pretty high ratings. What do you have to say about DMC 1 Dante?
I'm gonna
6
have
out of
to give
10.
This Dante, I'm definitely gonna have to give. He's got a tan going, so I'm gonna give him a 9.
I like that Dante.
Between 6, 7. 7 out of 10.
Alright. Nick?
7 out of 10 probably.
All right. Now you can see Dante's just his look in 1 is I prefer it better than 3 because he's not showing his chest and he's actually just wearing something like a demon hunter could wear. And Trish, looking at her here, she kind of pulls up something hoary to me, but it's classic and I just kind of got used to it over time. But how would you boys rate Trish's look?
I'm calling her 3 in the morning corner chick. Solid 7.
Alrighty.
I'd give it an 8. I like the all black, and I appreciate it because it's not like over the top slutty. Like it's not MK9 Melina slutty.
It's not dead or alive slutty.
Yeah, like it could be so much worse.
See you, Matt Parker. Have a good night.
Later, dude.
Night, Matt.
So yeah, these are like classic designs that they've had since 2001, and it's funny you can actually get Dante's DMC1 outfit in 3 as an alternate outfit when you beat the game, which is really nice. And
That's interesting.
so Trish starts telling Dante about a place called Mallet Island or Mallet Island. I don't care how you pronounce it, but it's stupid. Anyway. She starts explaining to Dante that the Mundus has started to bring some weird energies in this island and is trying to open up the demon world after so long because he's found a way to. And here's a good look at the castle that Mundus uses here.
Oh my god.
Look at that art!
Another Castlevania.
Funny thing, you can actually see Dante in this picture. Can you spot him?
Is he like in the?
Oh, so somewhere else, Waldo.
It's either he's in the bottom left or he's in the top middle.
The top.
He's in the bottom left.
Bottom left. Yep.
All right. Yep. Knew it.
Yeah, you can see him right there. So yeah,
Oh,
he
is.
yeah. So at this point, him and Trish starts wandering off and basically tells him go ahead and try and find out what's going on here.
Later, Cybercomic.
Yeah. So
Caught him.
see you, dude. Keep in mind, everybody, the stream will be archived, so if you can't watch it all live, you can watch it when it's put up and archived. And this will actually be put up as episodes for segments that people who can't watch the entire thing.
Nice.
Anyway, let's move on. Now, I'm going to keep in mind, nothing too major really happens spectacularly like the rest of the games do, since this was early PS2. So I'm taking certain segments that are critically important here, just so you know. Anyway, moving along, as Dante enters the place, he stumbles upon the sword Alistair stuck in the wall. And it says, "The weak shall give their heart and swear their eternal loyalty to me." After doing a puzzle, the sword stabs him. Can we get another point on our impale counter?
That's like 4.
Yeah, that'd be 4. I don't have a picture of it, sadly, because I just wanted to get to this cool moment. And
I have
the power!
Oh.
Yeah, Dante
He-Man.
literally starts using it and starts swinging around with it, and this is actually how you get Devil Trigger in this game, which is a bit weird, but that's how you do it. And let's get a good look at Alistair. Here's Alistair in action. There's your good look at Alistair right there. It is a pretty good looking sword, if I do say so myself.
It does.
I like the gold rusty. Looks jagged and old. I like it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's also a fucking
Gold.
dragon mouth spitting out the sword.
Now,
It does. I just noticed that.
now I want to point out when I was...
I'm just disappointed that the wings have spikes pointing towards your hands. And I would like to point out that that is a terrible design for a weapon. Other than that, it's pretty cool.
So I want to point out what I was laughing at earlier. If we go back to Dante's office here, you can actually see Alistair already impaled in one of the demons in the wall.
Oh yeah.
If you look real closely, which I still find hilarious to this day.
Yeah, I see
Anyway,
Did
back to
they
where
not
we
wanna
were.
put another,
Did they just like reuse the model?
They straight up reuse the model. If you look up cutscenes to this game and you look at that scene, you can see that they just reuse the model. It's really funny.
These guys are
It
so
is.
lazy. I love it.
So at this point, Dante gets Alistair, gets his devil trigger going, and he's like, yeah. And at this point, he starts going through the tower a little bit. Sorry, not tower. Thinking Devil May Cry 3 still. The castle a little bit more, and stumbles upon some fight bosses. The first one of which, and the first boss you ever fight in a Devil May Cry game, Phantom. Who is this?
Oh my god!
I didn't even beat that guy.
Take me away
It
from
looks
that.
like a
Take me
spider,
away
bro.
from that.
I'm scared of spiders.
It's a giant lava tarantula.
Oh
It's
my
terrifying.
god.
So, Dante and Phantom have a really cool interaction here where Phantom like breaks through the ceiling, lands, and says, another small one. Thought I sensed something a little bigger. What a disappointing catch. And Dante just like knocks on his leg and starts with a big surprise. You know, I hope you got something big and got something good inside that big body of yours. And starts knocking on his leg. And he does fight with Phantom twice. Well, first, he fights him twice, but after he beats him once, he starts trying to mess with him all around the castle until finally, in their second fight, Phantom gets killed. And after realizing that Dante is the son of Sparta, which I kind of hope that Phantom comes back in some way, because you never know.
He killed the big spider.
Yeah,
Made
he...
of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So yeah. Spectre says, imagine him on PS4. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Weird,
So, yeah.
gross tarantula hair and burning.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, after he kills Phantom, he ends up going out into the courtyard of the castle and meets Griffin, one of the most badass bosses in this game. And
Anyway, wants to open up that gift.
God damn it, Travis. Ugh.
My reaction to that right there.
wait, what?
That looks cool.
What did Travis send this time?
Here, I'll post it in the YouTube chat as well. Here, everybody.
Oh, good. Then I can pull it up on my phone without having to ruin the presentation.
Oh,
Yep,
I see.
everybody, that's my reaction to this boss.
Your reaction to Griffin?
Yep.
It'll take a minute to pop up. But yeah, Griffin is sort of like Mundus's right-hand man here. He's pretty cool. However, the third boss fight with him is a bit shit. Because literally he runs away. And Grove Street is right. His theme is one of the best in the game. It is really awesome. And you fight Griffin 3 times. One in the courtyard, one on a boat, and the third time in a huge-ass gladiatorial arena, which is really sick. However, the third time you fight Griffin, you end up, you had to do a puzzle to slam a key on him to open up a door. But as it required demonic energy, which he has a buttload of, and so you end up trapping Griffin under it. And
My birthday.
and while Griffin is literally struggling in pain and saying to Dante, like, you're an honorable opponent, I wish I could let you live, but I have to kill you, because my master won't allow it. And Griffin starts begging Mundus, grant me one last power to finish him! However, Mundus shows up, and he doesn't like failure very much.
He says, nah, dude.
He says, nah, dude, you fucked up.
Nah, you suck.
So he literally says, Griffin, you have failed me. You are no longer worthy. And then Griffin gets killed with a humongous electric shock.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aw,
light of judgment.
But it...
okay.
Dante's face. Dante's like, damn.
Dante's like, I'm
Even
gonna
I thought that
avenge
was too
my
much.
boy.
so
Just
it,
cracking his knuckles. Gonna avenge this goddamn Griffin.
so it's at this point Dante realizes how much of a dick Mundus is, and Trish is with him like, oh my god. And Dante says, I'll do anything to kill Mundus. Because he just thinks he just treats his minions like crap. Now, I may have skimmed over a boss. A very special boss in particular. Now, quarter way through Dante exploring the castle, he encounters a clone of himself, appearing out of a mirror, who then turns into this big dick energy man.
Oh my goodness.
What is that?
That is Nilo Angelo, the Dark Knight. Not Batman, but he's a Dark Knight.
Damn,
He
you
looks
stopped
dope.
us from making our jokes.
I was just about to say that.
So Dante starts talking to him, and the first thing Dante says to him is, I didn't expect anyone in this castle to have some guts." And Nilo Angelo is quite the badass in this game. He's one of the hardest bosses to fight because he's not a huge ass big demon. He's an actual guy with a sword that you have to fight, and it's a real back and forth battle the 3 times you fight him. So the first time you fight him is you fight him in the court, and he's like throwing projectiles. He's actually throwing all sorts of crap at you, slashing the sword. It's just not good. He's way worse on DMD. However, when you beat him the first time, he kicks Dante, really gets him grappled onto a wall, and at this point you think, oh man, win the fight, losing the cutscene type deal. However, while Nilo Angelo's got Dante in a chokehold here, his amulet falls. And Nilo Angelo starts having a headache and flies away. We'll get to that later. Now, later on in the castle, Nilo Angelo comes back a second time, more furious than the last, but he gets his ass kicked again anyway, so what does it matter?
Anger doesn't help.
Yeah. But it's the third fight what matters. The third time you meet him in this big-ass cathedral-looking place, and Dante says, "A man with guts and honor. I like that, but it's a shame you serve Mundus." But as he says that, Nilo Angelo starts powering up Dragon Ball style. Dante starts getting a little bit scared in his pants, and he reveals his face.
Hello, evil Virgil.
You are correct.
Or, sorry, even more evil Virgil.
Oh.
Virgil with dark armor.
Mm-hmm. So
Samus.
So you pretty much have pieced it together by now that yes, this is Virgil, but corrupted with all this stuff that Mundus has done to him. Because as you remember, at the end of 3, he encountered him, and we never saw him again. So obviously, he's had his brain warped. Pretty nuts. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So unclimactically, you beat him in a really hard boss, and he blows up. But here's the thing, he blows up like this all the time, and I'm glad in 5 we do see a mysterious hooded figure, which is gonna be Virgil, there's like no doubt about it. And so he is well and alive, but we just don't know what state he is in. But anyway, that's for later. But yeah, Nilo Angelo explodes one humongous time, and he drops an amulet, which you've all figured out by now, it is Virgil's amulet. The same that Dante has. And yeah, you can imagine, but as he's holding it, Dante has a little flashback of him and Virgil when they were young, which really makes you, which really when you're playing this game during this moment, it really gets your brain going, because during this moment you hear little kids like cheering and stuff because it's their birthday, and you hear a woman say, "Dante, Virgil, happy birthday," and then it's like, oh.
Right in the feels why.
Yep. So, at this point, Mundus is saying Trish, Virgil has been defeated. And that's when you learn Trish is working for Mundus as well.
What a bitch.
She was an evil bitch this whole time.
Top 10 betrayals of all time.
Anybody who throws a motorcycle at a dude is crazy.
Yeah. He didn't use almighty push.
Oh my god, Mohammed said this is the Martha moment, basically. Oh god. So yeah, it's at this point that, yeah, Trish is gonna do something about this after Virgil and all the other demons have been defeated. However, now that Dante has both the amulets, he can make the perfect one. which allows him to go into the underworld. And also, because he has both of the things, Perfect Sparta can now appear. And you get it as a weapon. And Travis, here you go. That's what it looks like when it's in scythe form.
Ooh.
Big and angry.
There's actually there's a really cool move that you can do with it that it has its own version of the million stabs where Dante does like a bunch of stabs with it. But with it, when you use it with Sparta, it extends and starts spinning on the scythe end. It's really
like
cool.
that.
That's pretty. That's pretty cool.
sweet.
Yeah, here's another good look of it for you when it's all on Dante's back. It's really cool looking. And also, here's another good look of it for you. So, there it is in DMC4 where they updated it a little bit. But on the right there, that's actually what it's going to look like in 5.
Mm.
The 5
Oh.
one looked like it looks like somebody just ripped out a spine.
Like
then
a
slapped
saw,
some
a
meat
demon
on it.
saw.
Yeah, 5 looks gross as shit, and I love
Yeah.
it.
It's
Yeah.
it's like a weapon you would get off of a demon in Doom.
It looks like a demon saw.
Yeah, I
It
can
does
I
look
can
like
see
a
it.
demon saw.
I can see it.
I would like it if the teeth if the spiny protrusions like move downwards along the back of the blade so you can
It
have
makes
chin
weird sounds,
saw.
like creaking sounds, like creaking.
It does make in gameplay that we've seen, it does make some really cool like metal sounds, but we haven't seen a lot of it to know what it really does. In all the games, it's been like a sort of a carbon copy of what Rebellion and all the other swords can do. But I'm hoping in 5 it will change that. But anyway. But how would you rate Sparta's look, by the way?
I would give
they
it an
both
8
look
out of
nice.
10, but because it turns into a scythe, 9 out of 10.
Just
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Same reading.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yep. I'm gonna have to agree with everybody on that.
Okay, but one guy says, "Is that the bone greatsword from Monster Hunter?"
God.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's move along. So after Dante gets Sparta, he goes into the demon world, and really gets in there and stumbles into a weird room with a bunch of writing on it. Into this scene, and he sees Trish lying there screaming, "Help me!" But as he tries to go reach her, this weird oogly bitch starts developing around him, and this is a demon called a Nightmare.
Oogly bitch.
Yeah, oogly bitch indeed.
I like that.
Now, I skinned this guy because I fucking hate this guy. Anyone who's played DMC1 in the chat can agree with me with this fucker. He's quite an asshole because when you fight him, like the first fight isn't bad. He's just a fight he's just a dumb boss with a bunch of gimmicks. But the second time he has super armor on all of his moves. You have to hit it. You have to wait for this little circle to appear from the back of him and hit it a bunch without dodging a bunch of stupid shit. But the third time you fight him, when he's near death, he will go on the ceiling. You have to dodge an insta-kill move, and he starts throwing a bunch of projectiles at you.
That's wild shit.
Yeah, it's dumb, and I skimmed it because I really don't care about him. Sorry, what?
Is this Dark Souls now? Instant kill and projectile spam?
Devil May Cry 1, I would say, is like the hardest game ever, because it is stupid on how the bullshit works in this game. Oh look, some people are agreeing with me in the chat.
Wow.
Anyway, so Dante just tells Trish to stay back. Oh god. Yeah, Dante tells Trish to stay back as he's trapped in this little area that Nightmare created, and tells him to just stay back and all until when you're halfway, like when you're near when the fight is over, you get an electrical light shot at you, and it turns out Trish is evil. Oh my god! And she's
Who would have guessed she's an evil bitch? Oh no! It looks like I have to kill you now. It's so sad.
so Trish is saying you become a real discrepancy for my master, and you must die. Now here's the more fucked part, is that after this cutscene, you continue the fight you've had with Nightmare, but Trish is shooting lightning bolts at you, which is really hard to dodge.
So it's the same fight, but even worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So after a really annoying fight, Nightmare starts exploding and light trails go all over the place and cuts a bunch of rock formations. And the rock formation that you see next to Trish is like slowly crumbling, and it starts to fall on her until Dante pushes her out of the way. And it literally looks like his head is in her boobs. And
It's pretty close.
but yeah, he pushes.
Should have been more strategically placed.
So yeah, he pushes her out of the way, and she starts to ask him why. Why did he do it? And he says, "Because you look like my mother. And when we meet again, it won't be like this. So I suggest you run away." And in this shot, she kind of has like oogly eye going on there. She got a bit of oogly eye. Yeah, she.
Ew, I can weirdly see it. Oh my god.
Those early PS2 graphics, man.
Oh, for real, yeah.
Man. Xbox
Oh.
graphics were way better back then.
But yeah, he says, "You look like my mother," and she screams, "Dante!" And he goes, "Don't come any closer, you devil!" And he says, "You may have her soul, but you'll never have her fire," as in the title. One of the weirdest line deliveries I've ever heard of Dante say. He literally says, "You may have her soul, but you'll never have her fire." So yeah, he says,
That's very funny.
yeah. So he says the next time we meet, it won't be like this, and continues his journey to get to Mundus. And Trish is just left there, just like, okay. Now, we've reached the end. Dante reaches the very end, and he reaches a strange cathedral place. And he sees Mundus at the very end, in this giant statue form, while holding Sparta in hand. And Mundus tells him, "Strange, another Sparta has come to face me. Strange, isn't it?" And Dante says, "Strange and ironic that it'll end the same way," of how Sparta won against him. But, however, Mundus points out that he has Trish captured right up on the ceiling or whatever on the wall. And as Dante looks at her to make sure she's okay, he gets triple stabbed.
So that
I
brings
think one
it,
of those stabs went right for the dick.
brings it up to 4, 5, 6, 7.
I lost count at this point.
So that's 3. That's an extra 3. And Mundus is just yucking it up. He's just yucking it up at this point.
Fuck face.
he's like, "Bitch." But as he's just yucking,
Wait, who the fuck? Who the fuck said gum gum?
Me, I said yum yum.
So as Mundus is going yum yum, and he charges up his height beam, and he starts saying, "Has the Sparta blood been spoiled over the ages?" And he starts claiming how easy this is until he fires the height beam, and Trish takes the hit.
Whoa. Whoa.
Trish,
Thank
the
Thomas.
greatest Secret Service agent of all time.
And Dante goes,
The greatest Mr. President in history.
So Dante's in shock that Trish took the hit for him. Trish supposedly is dead by this point. Dante gets angry and starts pissing off Mundus about... I wish I could get the video clip of this, but it would lag on your guys' part. I tested it and it wouldn't work. But Dante starts powering up here, and Mundus takes another shot, and it bounces off him and hits the wall. And Dante says, "How much longer are you gonna keep zapping? Come out here and face me, Mundus." That's what he actually says. So
That's so cheesy. I love it.
Spectre says, "Nani?" So, and is at this point, Mundus gets up in a really cool old school FMV sequence Look at this.
Real Moondis, please stand up.
Look at
Please
it.
stand up.
Look at this shot. Look how cool that is.
I've created a monster.
Look.
That's
Yeah, so
That's cool, Shadow.
yeah, Moondis gets up, Dante powers up, and he takes him into like a space realm, and there he is. Right there.
Final Fantasy boss.
Space Wars.
So Mundus and Dante have a little exchange here of Dante asks him, "Why'd you kill my mother?" And Mundus explains, "That pitiful being? You know, if you want, I could create a mother just like I created Trish, as many times as you want. You know, so you could have 40 mothers." And Dante didn't like that very much. Yes. So Dante gets a bit pissed off at that mark as he shouts, "Silence!" Because he just wants a real mother, not a fake one. And so they start fighting, and Dante literally imbues the power of his father because, remember, because he's in the demon world, his powers increase. So his devil trigger turns into that.
Okay, that's pretty baller.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
Now, so what happens here is really cool boss fight for the first phase is a rail shooter.
What?
You gotta love these early PlayStation games. They just do the wackiest shit.
Yeah, in the first phase of the Mundus fight, you have a dog fight with him, and it's a really cool thing. However, in the second phase of the fight, you fall down, and then you have to fight him like right there. On normal, this is fine because it's just you gotta manage terrible platforming, which can really screw you over. Because as you can see, there is lava down there that if you step in it, you get hurt, and you have to get up here and hit his chest. And here's another good look for you where he literally does a falcon punch. Now I couldn't get a shot of it when I was playing, but there's a move that he'll do where a dragon comes out of the lava and starts shooting at you, which is really cool. You have to manage that at the same time. And the only way to really kill it is to parry the thing it shoots at you, which is a bit difficult. You have to time your hit right to reflect it back just to get devil trigger going. It's really hard. It's a really challenging fight. But after all this, Mundus starts breaking up and dying, and then Dante ends up returning to the church where Trish is, and the famous scene ensues. Now, Nick, you know what he says here, but I don't think Travis and Carl do. So right here.
Say something cringy.
So
it's the worst.
So right here, Dante picks up Trish and says, "You risked your life for me, just like my mother did." And he starts getting upset and starts crying, and then shouts, "I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light."
Hot garbage.
I can't even.
Hot garbage, really.
I can't even put into words.
Mega Man X4 Zero's voice acting. What am I fighting for?
What am I fighting for?
Yeah, there's that too.
Oh, man.
I'm just fucking up. How about that?
How could the voice director go, that was a really good take. Let's stick to that.
Okay, now boys. Someone's Spirit Legion is asking to please recreate the scene. All right.
I'll be Trish dead on the ground, so I don't have to say anything.
I'll be the light casting God rays.
No, boys. We all gotta say it at the same time. All right, on three, we say, I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light. All right, on three, 1, 2, 3. I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light. And literally, Dante just starts crying.
Really, Sam? Really?
Yeah, because when he says it, it goes into slow-mo and it does this zoom in of his face while he's in the middle of saying light, and it looks like shit.
Oh my god.
So it's at this point that he starts crying, and in a really dumb move, in my opinion, he leaves his amulet and the sword of Sparta behind with Trish's presumed dead body, and he says, "My father's here too. Rest in peace," and then just leaves her there and runs away. Now, in my opinion, I think this scene is a bit stupid. No, I think this scene is a bit weird because why would you leave a sword that powerful there?
Along with the key to activate it.
Well, because the sword represents his father and Trish represents his mother, so he just put them together.
Yeah, but
he didn't even go out and bury them. He just left them in the middle of an open room. That's so disrespectful.
You wouldn't want to leave the sword there. Anyway, that's just a little gripe from me. But anyway, after that, he starts running. There's a little scene that happens where he runs through the castle and tries to get away from. Literally, it pulls It literally pulls. No, it literally pulls a freaking Resident Evil ending in the castle is going to explode, and you're stuck on a timer, and you have to get out. But as you're running away, Dante falls into a sewer underneath the castle that you were in earlier in the game, and the portal starts opening up. And who does it turn out to be? Me, motherfucker.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hey, buddy. Weren't you supposed to be dead with that PNG stretched over your torso?
So, Mundus ends up going through a portal into the human world, and he's still pretty beaten up after the fight he had with Dante, and starts saying, "You're not getting away, I will kill you myself," type deal. And in a final fight you have with him, you just gotta beat him up a whole bunch. And the creepiest thing is that he starts degrading as you're fighting, and he turns into that.
I can't even tell what that is. It's just
oh
flesh
my
man.
god!
It's a bunch of hands.
It's like a clicker god monster.
Clicker god monster.
God.
It's like the thing in one of the last Death Stranding trailers, the Tower of Hands.
Dude, it's like the thing from the original movie.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's scary looking.
Spirit Legion says, why does he have cheesy lasagna coming out of his chest?
Good question.
That's not true.
So he could trick you into eating him.
And I like what Dio says here. It's a good thing that
I'm sorry, continue.
I like what Dio says here. It's a good thing the current DMC voice actors know Japanese so they can properly translate the script to English instead of the terribly translated DMC 1 and 2 dialogue.
Careless discharge.
Oh, you're gross, Spectre.
So yeah, at this point, Munda starts yucking it up about how his powers are weak in the human world and he can't really be killed. And then at this point, Dante starts having realization, and he starts hearing his mother's voice of her saying, "Go, get up, Dante. You can do it." And Dante goes, "Mom?" Until Trish arrives. She's back.
Nani?
And she starts shooting Dante with her electrical powers, imbuing him with a lot of demonic energy. And the game, after that cutscene, literally tells you this. Read that.
Your power and Trish's power into your guns, Ebony and Ivory. Then use your devil trigger and blast a big shot into Mundus.
What?
So in this part, you have to shoot him a whole bunch to build up your devil trigger again, because it's at the very bottom. And when it's all the way up, and when you shoot him and go into devil trigger, it will cut to a cutscene of Trish going, "Looks like we have a winner." And Dante goes, "Jackpot," and shoots him, and Mundus gets blasted.
He explodes.
It looks like I'm firing my laser face, but like.
But like someone fired their laser first.
It looks like he fired his laser, but he closed his mouth. So he blew himself
Just
up.
exploded. What a powerful
it's the
mistake I've
salty
made.
cell move.
So, at Spirit Legion said nut.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Oh.
So at this point, like Mundus is starting to go back into the demon world, and he starts telling Dante, "I will return and I will rule this world." And Dante, in a witty line, which people are theorizing about for 5, is that after Mundus says that, he says, "Yeah, and when you do come back, give your regards to my son, will ya?" And after that, Mundus gets shut in the portal again, and then Trish is like, "Dante, we did it!" And she starts tearing up about how there's no escape at all. They're pretty much stuck. And Dante, in the most like weird way possible, wipes her eyes and says, "Don't worry, Trish. Devils never cry. Tears are only a gift humans have." Take that in.
That sounds so cringe.
Bro, it does.
Now,
Why doesn't she have his necklace anymore?
but here's
Wait,
the,
yeah.
Lord.
I would have. Yeah, they don't show that on screen of her giving it back.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just yeah, I figured as much.
But here's
So,
a.
yeah, pretty big plot hole to, not give him his shit back. What, did he wake up with his necklace on and just go, "Oh, hey, this is really pretty. I'm gonna leave it here next to this baller-ass sword. Now I'm gonna go run after him, and oh god, he doesn't have his weapon and I'm still running. Why am I still running? Oh, I see him. Oh god, we're gonna die now because I'm stupid."
See, all right, boys. I have a question for you. So they're stuck here underneath the sewer. The castle is literally crumbling. They're both just standing there. How do you think they get out of this?
I'm gonna go with
Griffin.
Spirit Legion's plan. Don't worry, Trish. We've got an airplane.
I'm voting for Griffin to come back from the dead and serve as Dante's personal fucking ride.
Carl?
Oh,
I have no idea.
Dante
I would like to
Dante
change my vote
gets
to,
on
they-
gets on motorcycle, and Trish throws motorcycle back to where they were.
I would like to.
They look at
change
the
my
castle.
vote
They
to-
look at the castle crumble, Castlevania style, and the game ends.
just
Well, here's the thing. Nick cheated by looking at the chat. They get in an airplane.
wait.
Wait.
Okay, but what do you mean I cheated? I didn't actually know. I thought Spirit was just memeing.
Well, you shouldn't have looked at the chat, bugger.
What the fuck?
So
Oh
here's
my
the
God.
thing. Here's the thing. In the beginning of the game, you go in a room and you see an airplane just hanging on the ceiling, and it just happens to fall in the sewer they're in.
Oh, God.
And-
I love that. I love the Hitchcock's gun.
So yeah, they get in the airplane, they start shooting their way out, and in one of my favorite scenes, it shows like a really static close-up of Dante's face like this, and he just goes, "Let's rock." And there's like a pause for a little bit while you're hearing the engine of the airplane going,
Let's rock.
Yo, man.
The sky there.
I can. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh well.
But yeah, they then end up getting out, and the castle explodes.
Plain as fuck.
I'll just
What?
Metroid style.
Guys, the island became a Hydra.
Oh my god.
So at this point, Dante starts explaining, the sky is fair. It's above everyone's heads, no different. And as Trish has never really seen the sky so blue before, and it's making her heart clear. It was really cringy dialogue here.
Yeah, it sounds stupid.
And at this point, she starts saying how, she starts saying
It's
how,
not safe. You're in an airplane. Sit down.
no, she Dante says, but it's not over though. There's still a lot of demons out there in the underworld willing to come back. But Trish gets up and says, but it's okay though, as the world has the legendary Dark Knight Dante and his sidekick. And they fly off.
No.
Take that in.
I don't like this ending.
Now, at the very end, we see the shop retitled Devil Never Cry. That'll catch
That is
on.
not cheap.
That'll catch on. And we see a zoom in on the door. They bust on through as they get a weird call from someone who has the password. And Dante says, we got 10 minutes. We can't let a single one of those suckers live. Trish says, 5 minutes. And Dante says, more than enough. And that's Devil May Cry 1.
Man, she really knows his stamina.
God damn it.
Sorry it's late. You have me now at the late point of my night where I make shitty jokes that are even worse than my
Yeah, it's like 2 in the
normal
morning
jokes.
over here.
Wow.
So, any questions, boys? Any questions for all that? I think the cringy dialogue got you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just
cringy
about to
dialogue
talk
really
about
got
that. Really overwhelming.
And any questions at all for anything?
Chat, got any questions? How you guys doing?
Anything?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alright, chat, you look like you're pretty chill. We're pretty chill. Let's move on to phase 2.
No questions at all? Nothing you got for me?
What about
Uh,
Shadow?
What about Shadow?
no. Nothing really.
Oh, wait up. Shadow is just a mini boss. He wasn't that important.
Alright,
Spirit asks, small question. Do you think Dante harbors any other feelings towards Trist other than mother? And if you do, why?
because he has an Oedipus complex and, he
Oh,
has secret.
shit.
Oh wait, I have a question.
Oh, yeah?
Does the Sword of Sparta return? I know it does, but like, which game?
In actually DMC 4, it's kind of Trish. Well, actually, you see it
Trish
here.
Clark.
You see it here. Hang on. Well, I'm not gonna go that far again, but you see Trish at the very end there. She's using Sparta.
Yeah.
It kind of becomes her weapon.
Trish's weapon.
Why does it become her weapon though? It's his dad's, not hers. She doesn't get it.
Well, Dante just kind of lets her have it because she doesn't really have anything else.
Yeah, this is like the most powerful sword in the world, but I mean, yeah, go for it. The lady I just met.
You know,
Like, yeah, you can have it.
get rid of your awesome size.
But
Like, you look like my mom, so.
to answer Spirit Legion's question, I don't think he has any other feelings for her besides mother, as they are just kind of partners at this point. And that's just me.
Okay, Mo. All right. Here's an unrelated question then. How big is your hype size?
If we're gonna put it on like a regular scale, we're just gonna say infinity out of 10. It has no bounds.
Regular scale, my ass.
I believe it.
There is no regular scale. There's nothing, or there is Devil May Cry. There is no middle ground.
Virgil needs to pay that child support.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're gonna get to that later, boys.
Oh yeah, one more question before we continue.
Oh, yeah.
So, the final boss, Mundus himself, like that's the one during DMC 1.
Yeah.
That wasn't his original form, right?
Well, it's not, because we don't really know what he actually looks like. That's just the form he takes, because, again, he
Oh.
thinks of himself like a god. He thinks of himself
I
as
thought
a
he
higher
was
being.
Actually look like a 6-year-old child that's just throwing a temper tantrum.
So I thought he was using like any like demon power or some shit. Or was just using a statue
He,
and just like controlling it or something.
I would like to think that, because, again, he just thinks of himself as a higher being rather than just a simple demon.
Oh, okay. So he just like self-proclaimed bullshit.
I'll be right back, boys. I gotta use the restroom.
Go
Keep doing
ahead.
your thing, though. Don't mind me.
Yeah. No, he literally he just thinks of himself as a god because again he just wants to control the human world, and then I would believe heaven after that. But it's really just the form that he just decides to take in DMC 1. If he ever comes back, I would imagine he would actually look quite different. But the funny thing in the reboot is that they tried to give him like a freaking Trump kind of look. He's all bald. He's got the third eye of his imprinted on his forehead. It's fucking dumb.
All right, I'll be right back too. I'm gonna use the bathroom as well.
Oh yeah, take a bathroom break. We're gonna get into some knee-deep shit later.
Yeah.
No, yeah, to basically put it simply, Carl, like all the demons and stuff kind of like Dante's Devil Trigger, for example, it's just the form he'll take when he's just when he taps into the demonic power that he has.
Oh.
It's like that's the best way I can put it, really, is just that's the form he just takes, because again he just I would just say Mundus just has a real big dick G god complex.
Yeah, I believe you. That's crazy.
But he does look pretty sick though.
He does. Not that lasagna form he took.
I'm gonna use that term from now on, the freaking lasagna form.
It's lasagna form.
Because all it is in that fight is really cool, because when you fight him in that third phase, he just keeps crumbling and crumbling, and you see just a bunch of discombobulated hands and eyes that are falling off him as you shoot it.
Yeah, it looks kind of nasty.
He is really nasty.
Yeah, and terrifying a little bit.
Yeah. Will you explain how Nero came to be, as in how he was created? We're getting there, Spirit Legion. Just keep it in your pants.
So we're going to Devil May Cry 4 next, right?
Indeed, we are. That is
Okay.
next in the timeline. That is
And after that is 5.
Yeah.
Undisciplined. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. We're fine.